Okay, well, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us for this informational webinar for prospective applicants to the third cohort of the Riegelman This is Public Health TIPH Global Grant Program. My name is Rebecca Fournier, and I will serve as moderator today to cover the details of the program application and the expectations. I am Manager of Global Engagement at the Association of Schools and Programs of Public Health, ASPPH, and I help support our work as the Secretariat of the Global Network for Academic Public Health, or GNAP, which oversees the grant program. The Global Network for Academic Public Health, GNAP, is an alliance of 7 regional associations that represent schools and programs of public health around the world. Between our associations, we touch on every continent excluding Antarctica and represent over 500 schools and programs of public health located in more than 100 countries around the globe. Our goal is to enhance academic public health and, excuse me, so sorry. Give me 1 second. Just want you to be able to follow along here. Okay. My apologies for that. Our goal is to enhance academic public health worldwide through mutual learning and collaborations between academic public health institutions globally to improve and protect the health of people and the planet. We see value in multicultural, multinational, and multilateral engagements and partnerships. Our agenda today is as follows. We will cover the application and program details and expectations, and then we will hear from prior grantees about their experience, and then we'll open it up to the audience for a question and answer period. This webinar makes use of the Q&A button, which is located on the bottom of your screen. Please type all questions you have into the pop-up box and feel free to enter questions as they arise throughout the webinar, but we will hold off on answering any questions until we reach the Q&A period. Before we get started, I want to introduce today's speakers. So we will be hearing some opening remarks from Laura Magana. Dr. Magana is President and CEO of ASPPH and current President of GNAF. We will then hear from Dr. Richard Riegelman, Professor and Founding Dean at the George Washington University Milken Institute of Public Health. The Riegelman TIPH Global Grant Program is generously supported by Dr. Richard and Mrs. Linda Riegelman, and their ongoing vision for global public health, collaboration, and community helps make this program what it is. Later in today's presentation, we will hear from Piyusha Majumdar. Dr. Majumdar is an associate professor at IIHMR University in Jaipur, India, and led a TIPH global project team in cohort 2. We will also hear from Carl Conyard, an ASFR fellow at University College Dublin in Ireland, who functioned as the global student ambassador for the UCD team's work, also in cohort 2. So Laura, I just want to turn it over now to you and then to Dr. Riegelman for some comments, and thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Becca. Well, welcome everyone. I'm very, very excited to be here, welcoming all of you interested in participants in this incredible project and initiative of the Global Network of Academic Public Health. Let me tell you that it's such an important initiative. As Becca was saying, the Global Network, we really are a very young network. We constituted ourselves very recently, but we are working together since actually a little bit before the pandemic hit the world. So all the academic schools and programs of public health, we are connected with the only purpose of really sharing experiences, advancing academic public health. There's no better way to really just be communicated among each other and sharing all our resources and we're thinking about different issues. So thanks to the generosity of the Riegelmans, Richard and Linda, we were able to launch this initiative, which you're going to hear more during the whole hour here in this session. And I really encourage all of you to really apply and continue and really do it, because it has proven to be a very successful initiative. You're going to hear also from previous participants in the program how we are connected really with the world, and each of the cohorts is really a network of friends or colleagues around the world that can share, your ideas, everything that you're doing in your school, in your program, in your country. We know about it through, just know it because we know you. So we are friends here, we are colleagues, we are always in the same spirit of sharing and really advancing. And you can hear also all the topics, because public health has, it is engaged in so many different topics. And what we want is just to hear what are you doing in your country, what are your ideas, and kind of share of that. So I just want to say thank you. You can reach us anytime. And again, like Becca said, I'm actually wearing two hats. So I'm the president. I have the honor of being the president of the global network, but at the same time, I am the president of ASPPH, which is the so-called the American one. Even though it's not American, we actually have 7 countries in the association. But of course, most of the schools and programs are here in the United States, and we're based in Washington, D.C. So anything that you want to connect us, we're here to help you in your application. And I hope to see you soon in the launching of the next cohort. So welcome to this session, and thank you.
Thank you, Laura. We when we started this project, we looked for a number of goals that we really hope to achieve, and so far it's been really incredible how well those have been achieved, and all of these people here really have made that happen. Our goals were really for innovation and then dissemination and recognition and development of the global network. Those are 4 goals that really were at the beginning of this and continue to be central to it. The innovation, I hope that all of you will take a look at the Global Network website and what's happened with cohort 1 and 2, and you'll hear more about that shortly. But the innovation is really impressive and diverse. And it's exciting to see all of the ideas that are really now very much out there. The second piece was dissemination. And innovation is wonderful, but our goal is to have it make a difference. And that means to get the word broadly. And I think this is one of the mechanisms that Global Network really can do, is to get the word out. And the 3 webinars that were held last year by the participants were really wonderful to see, and to see how what was happening and how successful many of the projects have been. Recognition. It's important that the participants in this gain recognition for themselves, their institution, and hopefully seed funding to continue on with their successes. So we really saw that that was an important part of it, and there have been presentations at the regional meetings, the educational meetings that all of the awardees are members of, and so that's been very important. And the Global Network has really played a role in making that happen, including the engagement of students. Which is the future, and I've been delighted that the Ambassador Program has also been very much a part of this, and that the Global Network has really is beginning to really take off, and it's been a wonderful work. Obviously, Laura's contributions to it, and it's been truly an incredible worldwide effort, and anything we can do to help that happen and continue that progress, I'm delighted to see. So I look forward to hearing about the proposals that will be made, and to seeing the results. So I look forward to hearing more. Thank you all.
Great. Thank you so much, both of you, for those words. I think it's obvious, looking back at the first 2 cohorts, that it's truly impressive. And I know that we all applaud the innovative and compassionate work that's been accomplished over the last few years. So I would just like to, for a moment, take us back to cohort 1, which ran from 2021 to 2022. It spanned 18 different countries and resulted in projects that positively impacted local communities, some of which are listed here. In spite of the challenges that were obviously posed by the COVID-19 pandemic, the grantees persevered, working with agility and determination to see their projects through, and ultimately they reported being most proud of their institution's abilities to unite and achieve results in the face of those obstacles. Cohort 2, which ran from 2023 to 2024, awarded grants to 12 academic public health institutions from 10 countries that you can see here. The projects were diverse and timely, including a focus on human illness, societal challenges, and topics in the development of public health as a field. Using a range of innovative and engaging techniques, the grantees worked to educate, train, and empower their communities. You can read more about the work accomplished by cohorts 1 and 2 on the GNAF site, globalnetworkpublichealth.org, by navigating to our activities page and locating the TIPH Global Read More button. And we encourage you to do that if you're interested in reading about the last couple of years. Okay, so let's get into the details of the grant. One of the few changes that is occurring in the incoming cohort is that the grant program will now run for 2 years rather than 1. This was based off of an assessment of the first 2 cohorts, and it's intended to allow for greater sustainability and better work cadence, as well as improved visibility and collaboration from one cohort to the next. Grants will still be awarded in an amount of up to $5,000 to academic public health institutions worldwide for them to develop campaigns that increase the visibility of global public health. Recognizing the presence of global health issues worldwide and in appreciation of the concept that global really is also local, projects do not need to be located any longer outside of the US. Projects that focus on a population within the US will also be considered. And collaborations, of course, continue to be encouraged if they're appropriate. There are 2 parts to the award, Part A and Part B, both of which are required for the application. We'll go over the 2 components in more detail in just a moment. I do want to say we strongly prefer submissions to be in English. If that's not possible, please reach out to me so we can discuss how to proceed. That being said, social media posts, other marketing materials, we encourage you to produce those in the language most appropriate for your audience, and our staff can work with you to translate the phrase, "This is public health," for your use throughout the project. Applicants will, of course, be expected to follow all guidelines provided by TIPH Global and are required to provide a mid-year update, a final progress report, a detailed description of project costs, and to participate in our final showcase. At the start of the grant period, each grantee will receive 50% of the funds, with the remainder distributed equally at 6 months and then at 12 months into the program when the mid-year report is approved. Part A is where applicants describe the project plan. This is the component to which all funds are attached, and the assessment criteria will include creativity, proposal quality, and potential impact per the criteria that are outlined in the request for applications, the RFA. All applications will require general institutional information. This includes a letter from your regional association confirming membership, and we really suggest that you seek this out well in advance of the submission deadline, which is December 13th, to ensure that you are able to submit a completed application on time. Applicants will also be required to upload a 2-page proposal for Part A to an online form, following the formatting and including the components outlined in the RFA. One additional change to highlight for Cohort 3 is that for the first time, prior grantees are permitted to apply. They're required to provide an additional 1-page submission summarizing the outcomes from their original project and demonstrating how, should they receive a grant in this cohort, the work would be significantly expanded or evolved. Part B pertains to the Student Ambassador Program, for which every applicant is required to propose 1 student from their institution to participate. There are no funds associated with Part B. However, again, both Parts A and Part B are required for an application to be considered complete. Proposed students should have a functional knowledge of English in order to participate fully in the elements of the program, and they must be currently enrolled in a degree program at either the lead or a collaborating institution identified in Part A. Graduate students are preferred, but undergraduate students will also be given consideration. However, students should be prepared to participate for the duration of the grant. Grant applicants will be required to provide basic information about the nominee they have selected and submit a nomination statement explaining their student selection. And then the applicants themselves will also upload a 1-page essay by the student, which responds to the questions that you see here and which are also in the online application form. At a high level, the expectations of a Riegelman TIPH global grantee are: 1, that their project promotes awareness of public health worldwide with an emphasis on local communities. 2, that they're able to identify and describe funds and or in-kind support to match the award amount. 3, that they propose a currently enrolled student to participate in the TIPH Global Ambassador Program. And 4, they submit and complete on-time midterm and final reports, as well as participating in our final showcase. Budget proposals for the project described in Part A should be written according to the formatting outlined in the RFA and containing the full amount requested up to a maximum grant amount of $5,000, a line item budget description detailing project costs, and a description again of the matching funds and/or in-kind support with calculations. Please note that grant funds will be dispersed in US dollars, meaning that lead institutions must be capable of accepting US dollars. Eligibility is outlined in greater detail in the RFA, but most fundamentally, all applicants must be an academic public health institution that is a member of one of the 7 regional associations belonging to the Global Network for Academic Public Health. Proof of such membership is required for the application in the form of a letter from the regional association written on their letterhead. As stated earlier, it's recommended you seek this letter early to ensure that all components of your application are complete and can be submitted by the December 13th deadline. And note again that prior grantees of TIPH Global are now eligible to apply for the grant as lead institution if you're able to demonstrate how the project will significantly expand or evolve the prior work. Prior grantees must also submit the additional documentation in Part A. All application materials are due just before midnight, that is 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, US, on Friday, December 13th, 2024, and they should be submitted via SurveyMonkey, the link of which can be found in the RFA, as well as directly from the GNAF website. Applications will undergo review per the criteria outlined here and in the RFA. Representatives from the Global Network will assess the output that comes from our reviewers and make all final decisions. And then applicants will be noted of their award status in April of 2025. So this is just a brief look at the timeline. Again, we've released the RFA, the applications are open and we welcome them until December 13th at 11:59 p.m. There'll be a review period and notification of grant status will be sent out in April. The grant period will begin in May. Midterm reports will be due 1 year into the program, and final reports and participation in the showcase will take place in May of 2027. So I am now very pleased to turn over the digital microphone to Dr. Majumdar and Carl Conyard, who will each share a few words about their experience with TIPH Global. And if you're ready, Dr. Majumdar, did you want us to share your screen? I can stop here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rebecca. I'll just share my screen. Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible, not yet in presentation mode. Perfect. Yep. Looks good.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. And first and the foremost, my gratitude to Dr. Laura Magna, Dr. Richard Riegelman, and Rebecca, to you for inviting me in this very pertinent webinar. Before actually telling about this experience, I wanted to say that the support that have been received from ASPPH is, it's the tremendous support that have been received in terms of innovation, in terms of recognition, and in terms of hand-holding. And I also want to say that we have encouraged all the grantees. So IHMR belong to cohort 2. And in cohort 2, we have been encouraged to collaborate, do strategic networking, for the mutual benefit. So talking about, let me just talk about IHMR. So IHMR is the institution that have been a pioneer in the area of public health, and we are located in Jaipur in India. And IHMR is also been the CIFIN Secretariat. And the thing that we have done in our project, so we have produced a podcast by the name of Ensure Health. So we propose that we will be producing a podcast, and this podcast, basically the goal is to, make the, yeah, so this is the thing that we have produced.
strength, capacity, competency, and knowledge in the area of public health. Like context, public health, engagement, and trust. Then, part of implementing public health environment and promoting coordination with solution. In order to pursue our public studies focus, ensure discuss controversial topics, innovative and inspiring research and articles to knowledge when nothing published. By brain-based models, research and experiments in public health are sports now. Hotels and expert show local professional understand this research. So, we implement the result of ensure health, and the podcast will be available on the IHM website. In agreement, biomanagement in IHMR, practical of the public behavior in IHMR, and the whole arsenal presented IHMR. Protective and aided jobs for public health, social first. Also comprising of the relevant agents to the short summary,
So, we in our project, we felt that the student engagement, as Dr. Riegelman also suggested, that the student engagement is the integral part of the public health, because in this way we can, produce the global health leaders. So we involved a lot of students in our project, right from designing and the other things. We have also created a lot of, social media promotion. So we did a lot of social media promotion and also created QR codes. As you can see that we have created QR code for our LinkedIn account, QR code for our Instagram account, and QR code for the Spotify account, and it is available on the Spotify. Talking about the unique content that we have prepared. So far we have produced 10 podcasts. So initially, when we were in this period, in last 1 year, we had produced 8 podcasts. Right from public health 3.0 to the innovations in implementation research, to the digital health and insights on the implementation research. So we had a lot of focus on the unique content that we try to produce through this podcast.
The challenges in existing services also focuses on packaging competition.
Recently, we have also interviewed, one of the very well-known person, Dr. Gary Eslanian. Dr. Gary Eslanian, he's the executive producer, and he's also the host of another podcast, which is Global Health Matter, and podcast is produced by WHO TDR. So we got the opportunity and we connected with him, and he has agreed to come to our show, and we have produced this podcast and did a lot of promotions also. As I said that we did a lot of student engagement. The student came and, they worked with us, and we also made a lot of promotional material with respect, to this grant. We also did a lot of promotions during our annual conferences because we want that, having a podcast is okay, but it should be promoted also, and people should be listening, and the students of public health should be listening to it also. So we did a lot of promotions during our annual conferences. We made a selfie point, and as you can see, there are like QR codes that can be so by just going to the QR code, people can get the link and then they subscribe to that. We also did the promotion during our entrepreneurship program. So we did an entrepreneurship program here and did a lot of promotion during this, and our student volunteers have made played a pivotal role there. Talking about the podcast, the listener statistics. So far we have produced the podcast content of 4 hours and 10 minutes. So we have more than 4,000 Spotify listeners here and the impressions. And we try to prepare one podcast per month. And talking about the plays, so at individual episodes have around 500 plays. Talking about the listeners, as I said, that our unique content is not only focusing on the issues and yeah.
Sorry, Dr. Majumdar, we're having trouble hearing the audio. So it may be best to just skip the audio portions, but feel free to show the slides and speak.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so it is showing that, we have more than 500 Spotify impressions, and people, it has reached to more than 23 countries, including US, UK, Nepal, Germany, Uganda, Singapore, Nigeria, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Malawi, Belgium, etc. So there are a lot of promotional material that have been prepared by us, including the social media sites, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. And you can see here that there are a lot of impressions here. Now, as I said that we have also a global student volunteer with us. So you can hear, I hope you'll be able to hear this. Are you able to hear that?
No, unfortunately, it's just very, very quiet.
Okay.
I apologize. Yeah.
Oh, okay, not an issue. So as I said that our global ambassador, Yashwant Sonati, so he also got the chance to, shoot a podcast on his topic, and he produced a podcast on operational research. And he also helped us in designing the communication material and also widely distributed the thing. And as you can see here, we have, as a part of this grant, we have produced a lot of promotional material, a lot of merchandise also that include the badges. So you can see here the badges. So the badges are the Ensure Health badges. We have also made made a selfie corners, which is made from sandboard, and we've also made the diaries for the students and also some beautiful mementos. So in the end, I would like to say that the grant that we have received, it really helped us in producing a product which is, which is really beneficial for the public health community. And we are very sure that in due course of time, we will be able to make it self-sustainable. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was so great to hear a bit again about your project. I mean, something that's really truly global, and the engagement that you had with the local community, the engagement with your students. So I appreciate you sharing that with us, and I'm sure we look forward to following the podcast in the future. So thank you. And Carl, did you want to say a few words? I'm not sure if you'd like to share your screen or just speak to us.
If I could share my screen, that'd be wonderful, Rebecca. Thank you so much. Pardon me. And we're to say good morning and good afternoon to everyone who's on today. It's absolutely wonderful. And a gigantic thank you to Dr. Richard Riegelman and Linda Riegelman for all the work they've done for public health. It is so important that going into it. Third cohort is just absolutely fabulous. And a gigantic thank you to Rebecca, Dorothy, and of course Norma Ganya as well for such an amazing opportunity. So I'll just quickly share my screen. And Rebecca, if you could let me know if this goes into presentation mode, okay? That would be amazing. Apology. Okay. And
Always finding that button, isn't it? Yes.
it is indeed, isn't it? There we are.
It's
So,
in presentation mode, just so you know, we can see the slides that are upcoming below it. But if you're comfortable with that,
oh,
then
apologies. Didn't do anything. I think that should be fine anyways. I don't know what's causing that, to be entirely honest.
absolutely all right.
But
Thank you.
I'll I'll fly through anyways. So I think it's very clear to say that public health is very unique. It's one of those really amazing subject areas which really touch every single population on this earth, and it's just absolutely fabulous. And I think it wasn't really seen or given as much attention maybe in the past compared to after the COVID-19 pandemic. When, shall I say, if we were talking in the theatre, the spotlight was put upon many public health professionals, and we all got to grace the board, for want of a better word. So one of the big things we did here in UCD was we assisted in the creation of an ECC core competency set for applied infectious disease epidemiology competencies. And with that, one of the big things with this is public health is that we were able to apply this amazing tool across our island, which is absolutely fantastic. So essentially, this is towards harmonizing education and applied infectious disease epidemiology in master level public health programs here on the island of Ireland, and the value of the ECDC self-assessment tool. And very much like, what do you as a student get out of this experience of being this is public health global ambassador? Well, you get connection, as was previously pointed to. You are joining a family of public health across the world, which is absolutely important. You are gaining skill sets which are just so important for your future, which lead on to innovation. You get project management experience, which is really, really exciting for young professionals. There is a lot of learning, but the learning sticks to you for the rest of your life. And of course, being an ambassador also comes with the role model form as well, which is very important to, in some way, show some leadership skills and lead the way for the future as well, for others who want to follow suit. And with that, here it is. Here is the core competencies in applied infectious disease epidemiology and in Europe. And this was published back in 22 in April by the ECDC. And we've had great pleasure in being able to present a lot of this work through this public health and multiple conferences, both nationally and internationally. And one of the things we wanted to do was to really look at the self-assessment tool that was developed by the ECDC, and where it's very useful for personal reflection on one's practice in applied infectious disease epidemiology. It doesn't really assist very much in teaching, in being able to assess programs and seeing, are we hitting the nails where we need them to be, specifically coming through a global pandemic. We want to make sure that our skills and practice of students leading programs is where it needs to be to hopefully prevent future pandemics, but also to be able to act when action is needed. And with that, we really in Ireland wanted to really look at this tool and come up with a way to actually really push forward the idea of updating teaching across the island. So the ECDC tool has some strengths. It's easily accessible through QR code, and easy to use in one's downloads. There was immediate response and good visual impact, and it was confidential to the individual, and had very interesting links to the ECDC Virtual Academy, which is European CDC, for want of a better word, along with the WHO Academy as well. But as I said, it had quite a few limitations. The proficiency levels were not really well specified. Visual representation only, no score to really understand where you're really sitting at. And it wasn't possible to track progress by either domain or competency throughout the competency set. And it wasn't really functional, as I said previously, for educators. So we decided to, for the fun of it, we decided to design surveys to reevaluate and make this tool anew, for want of a better word, to make things a little bit more easy. And essentially, we did a pre and post study in regards to this, getting master students of public health to do this when they begin the course of their study in public health and also after, to see change. And we did this across a few different universities within Ireland. We incorporated 3 subject areas comprising 12 domains, representing 91 competencies in applied infectious disease epidemiology, which is just absolutely fabulous. And just give a little bit of a demonstration of the results. We can see here this is 8.12, which is identifying methods employed nationally and internationally to ensure comprehensive notification of infectious diseases to relevant statutory bodies or agencies. And as we can see, the top chart here is the before. So this is when students were starting off their course in public health. We can see there was much unawareness, a little bit of awareness, and there's a little bit of skills there as well. But after the course, we see a complete change of where we want to be seeing students really gaining their skills and really applying those skill sets, most importantly, demonstrating a commendable shift towards knowledge and skills of students at the end of their program. But it also is a very useful tool for programs to see if there isn't very much change, then we may need to look at the curriculum of the program to see what needs to be changed to enact the positive shifting of knowledge and skill. We also have some summary results here that were done throughout FPSS version 29. And I'm very happy to see there's a lot of statistically significant values there looking at pre-program and post-program scores in regards to medians and ranges, which is absolutely fabulous. The one that was a little bit different, of course, is disease modelling. And in a lot of programs in Ireland, we actually don't cover disease modelling. It's rather high statistical knowledge. But we're now seeing after the pandemic, there is a hunger for it now. So when we redo this evaluation across the Irish schools of public health, we may see very much a big difference. And the contribution of this project, really, self-assessment tool and program assessment model for other areas of public health is vitally important. This is not just a competency set just for infectious disease epidemiology. There's a lot of transferability of skills here, used both in public health literacy, public health education, negotiation, the list goes on. It led to obviously the development of the online toolkit for assessment, which were noted to be very useful by schools of public health across the island, and a basis for modification to teaching programs to harmonise that practice both in teaching and academia, but also in practice in the field. And also, we were very lucky to have now 2 students who have managed to complete their MPH dissertation, based on some of the statistical work, along with dissemination, as I said earlier, by presentation and publication. And also, this has also all led to the creation of the ASPR core curriculum program. And as an ASPR fellow, I've been working on this for quite a while. And we're actually launching this at the European Public Health Conference next week in Lisbon. A lot of Europeans are very busy at the moment trying to get their bits ready for the conference, to say the least. But as we can see here, this is just a content analysis of the different subject areas within the curriculum. Now, I do apologize, the size is quite small, so I've just done a zoomed section there. And as you can see, communicable diseases, i.e. infectious diseases, are linked in the curriculum in many different subject areas. For example, the whole area of One Health, disease prevention, emergency preparedness and disaster management, public health and conflict war and peace building, leadership and management, biostatistics and data interpretation, importantly, epidemiology and demography, but also along with the fact that with public health touching so many people, we have to be mindful of the diversity and intersectionality of things. We need to be mindful of global public health, but also, as I said earlier, being aware of public health literacy and infodemiology. We've seen quite a lot of that over the pandemic. And of course, health promotion and being aware of all the different multifactorial determinants of health which affect our populations on a daily basis. So, as we like to say in Ireland, Míle Buíochas, which is Gaelic or Gaeilge for a gigantic thank you, and a gigantic thank you again to this Public Health, AFBPH, for this amazing opportunity. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll just
Thank
stop the
you so
sharing
much.
there.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's lovely to see about the project again, and obviously you were involved tremendously from start to finish. And I think it's really nice to see both of these projects to kind of demonstrate, and I do encourage everyone to go onto the GNAF website and look at the incredible breadth of projects that are out there that people are working on. And what both of them also demonstrate is I love that so many of these projects have such an eye towards expansion, towards sustainability, towards other applications. That really is the crux of public health, is trying to, you know, collaborate and look towards the future and help one another. So thank you, Carl, and I appreciate both of your comments. I'm going to just screen share for our little Q&A session, and we haven't received questions coming in yet from our audience here. So I will open the floor. I suppose I would ask both of you if you have any suggestions to, you know, new applicants, anything that you wish maybe you've done differently, or any recommendations for how they approach it. And particularly because, you know, Carl, we have you here, and Dr. Majumdar, you spoke about student engagement. What you recommend about approaching best utilizing the student ambassadors from the beginning of the project. But if you have other words, please feel free to share them with our audience.
Okay, so what our experience suggests that the global student ambassador were involved in this project right from the very beginning. And also I want to share that even in the quarterly meeting, the ambassadors were involved. So while making your proposal, my humble submission is that you just choose your student global ambassador very wisely, the one who can contribute, because who can contribute in this arena of global or public health. We should choose those people. And as I said, that in our program, we choose our student global ambassador, the one who has some prior experience of working in the research programs. So we chose him, and he was quite a dynamic person. So because for the TIPH, the main goal of TIPH is to spread awareness on on various areas of public health. So we should choose our project, and as well as we should think that how our project, the product that we are producing as a part of this TIPH global grant, how it is being utilized by the by the public health fraternity. That's what my comment is. Thank you.
I completely agree with you, Dr. Majumdar. It's so important to get young professionals at the forefront of these projects. Specifically, as you said at the quarterly meetings, it was very clear that the young professionals, not included in some to say the least, but the fact is that the young professionals really give lift and really give energy to projects all the way through. And my best advice for future students who want to get in contact with their faculty to become a part of this amazing process is there's no such thing as a wasted experience. Apply, and if you get it, happy days. I can honestly say it was a fantastic experience all the way through. The amount of connection you make all the way through. We were very lucky, and thanks to Rebecca and Dorothy as well in the main office, we were very lucky that we had ways to communicate through a really cool app that allowed us to connect with all of the ambassadors together at the same time. Sharing news, sharing updates, being able to really grow within the family and fraternity of public health, and being able to really learn more about what's happening across the world, really. That's the amazing thing about this global network. And this is public health. After these quarterly meetings and in between, you're constantly being introduced to really cool, interesting information that really develops your own learning, but also it just broadens your horizons in so many different ways. So a gigantic thank you.
Yeah, right. And I also wanted to add one more point here. As the youngsters here, they are really good in the dissemination and the social media. So I know that most of my students, they acted as a social media manager, and they quickly disseminated the information about the podcast to the people, and that helped us in reaching the increasing our audience base. Dr. Richard, please. Thank you.
Let me make some comments too. I think you've heard some excellent presentations. One of the things that we really, I think, have been emphasized in this program is the creation of networks, and you heard a bit about that. The core two met quarterly by Zoom and exchanged ideas and on their progress, and that's very much a part of the thinking about this, is to really to create an ongoing connection. And you've heard those terms, and it's real. And I think that's an outcome that maybe less concrete, but just as important in terms of what's happening here. Secondly, you've heard two projects that are incredibly developed, and they shouldn't intimidate you. They should, because you can start with a very solid, concrete, modest project and build on it. And I think that's important to recognize that the initial proposal doesn't have to change the world. It has to provide good ideas for what could happen. And third, we tried, I think, quite successfully to have a large number of grants, and this is an ongoing project. This will occur every 2 years. We worked hard to be sure that there's the funding to support it indefinitely. So I think that it's important. This is not a long shot grant. I think there's a good chance in terms of having a chance of getting it if you can put together a good project. So I encourage all of you who are here and listening to this subsequently to consider making the application. So I hope that works. Good luck to you.
Thank you so much. Very well made points. I appreciate it. Maybe just for a moment, while we have the time, to return to the logistical side, as the applicants are thinking about putting in their application. If you both, Carl and Yusha, could speak briefly about the process for Part A, because that really is the bulk of it. Of course, the budget, takes a lot of work, and we appreciate the student essays, but because the grant is tied so closely to Part A and it is so substantial, if you could just speak a little bit about what that took, what went into it for you, were there any hurdles or obstacles, and if there's anything you feel that I should clarify while we're on the call for those listening.
Yeah. I think when I was preparing the proposal, the technical part, so in the technical part, I don't think so I had any, confusion, because it's a very, you want a concise proposal, a 2-pager thing. And it's really, I think it's easy for us to just put down our ideas into that. But somewhat the tricky part was the financial proposal. And when I made my proposal, I didn't taken into consideration the institute's, the equal amount that institute has to put in, because it is, the partial funding, will be done by the TIPH grant, and the partial funding will be done by the institute itself. So I had this confusion in my mind while I was preparing proposal, but thankfully Rebecca helped me in that. So I received a hand-holding for that from Rebecca, and I instantly corrected that. So while preparing your financial proposal, just make sure that, for your financial part, you make, a kind of a comparing budget. One for, the TIPH grant, how much, budget is required, and the same amount, the equal amount that the institute, will be doing. And also, I think the student ambassadors, the interest area and his CV, I guess, is also required here. In the proposal, you also want that the global student ambassador has to fill certain information. So I think the last date is 13 December. So you need to choose your student ambassador well in advance and tell him to, just fill the entire details.
Thank you so much. Both very, very good points. Yes. So the first thing, I'm sorry, am I interrupting?
No, I was just going to say absolutely. Just Make sure you double check everything on the form when it comes to the financial side. Rebecca and the office are absolutely fantastic. So if there's a question, send a timely question. And other than that, it's just making sure being aware of the matching component, which is so important.
Yes.
Absolutely, completely agree with Dr. Absolutely.
Exactly. So that's the point. So it is a matched award. So exactly like what's been said here, as you're laying out the funds and how they'll be spent in your concept when you're first beginning about the project, figuring out what those in-kind or other contributions can be to line up with what you're expecting is very important. And yes, I appreciate the point being made about contacting the student ambassador and communicating early with that. I think that's something we don't stress enough. But of course, they need the time to write their answers to the questions and feel solid about that submission. So very good point. And in terms of part A, I really have to reiterate and appreciate Dr. Riegelman's point about, don't be intimidated. This is looking for projects, and we understand, we've had the experience with our awardees that things do pivot, they change, they evolve, and we're really just looking for the fodder for a promising and innovative project. Also, feel free, I'll just say it again, that you can reach out to me at any point, even well in advance of the December 13th deadline. If you have questions about the grant process, the application process, any part of it, I would love to respond to you by email. And I'll put my email on the final slide when we wrap this up. But thank you both, and thank you, Dr. Riegelman, for the comments. Is there anything else that anybody would like to share?
One last thing, you need the organizations need to also produce a document that they are a part of the network, whether it's CIPHN or it's CAFIA or it's any other network. So they need to produce a document that states that the institution is a part of that network.
Yes. Good reminder. That is one that we try to stress because, again, that may take a little bit of time. So please do get in contact with whichever regional association your institution belongs to in advance. And we need a letter from them confirming that you are an active member on their letterhead to submit with your application online by the 13th. So thank you for that. That's a good reminder. Okay, well then let me just screen share one last time so that I can finalize this by saying thank you. Thank you to everybody joining us. Thank you to our panelists speakers today, for Dr. Riegelman, for your support and ongoing vision for this. And thank you for Carl and Dr. Majumdar for speaking and sharing so much about your projects and being so willing to answer the questions posed to you. And we really do look forward to reading all of your applications. Any further questions about the process, please do reach out to me. My email is here, rfournier@asppph.org. It's also available on our ASPPH site. And I encourage you one more time to go to the GNAF site and explore the past projects, see what's out there, see the work that's been done, get encouraged, get excited, and submit an application. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.